Thank you, Anna. See, I got your name. I don't know.
It's easy.
It's easy. Today, this week has been a big week, right? Everybody who has a television knows that two significant news stories that weren't about politics. One was about the shooting, and the other one was about the wedding. And I thought the wedding was, I saw some of it yesterday. I saw most of it, actually. And the British do pageantry really well, don't they? I mean, it's like, it was going well, but they topped it when they got in the carriage, and the white horses in the front and the black horses in the back, and yeah. It was definitely Disney made real, you know? And so there was a nice counterbalance to the whole tragedy of the shooting. And I think many of us have been dealing with, what can we do about this? And so I'd like to do something I've done here several times before, but I'd like to do it again. I'd like to talk about Ho'oponopono. Will give us a chance to practice. Ho'oponopono comes out of the Hawaiian tradition, and it is a form of prayer that we can do, and I'm going to explain it from a fairly high level and then down a little bit, and I'll give you a chance to kind of get some of the nuance of it, I hope, and that it will become a powerful practice for you. I have seen it work remarkably well. I even heard someone, after we did it, the first service, came up to me right afterwards and said they'd gotten a message that was an answer to the Ho'oponopono they just did. So it can happen immediately. So we're going to practice, and this is for healing ourselves but mostly for healing the world. So let me start with the high level part about Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono comes out of essentially the non-dual way of thinking. Now, non-dual basically means that there's not so much an I and a you, but there is oneness. It's a focus on the oneness, the universality, the consciousness that is everywhere, that is both manifest and aware of the manifestation. This is the universal, godlike consciousness that is creating, and is aware of the creating. But it's still God, so it's all one. Now, there's a practice called the headless state. And it's a little weird, but we can do it here without moving. Really, you can do it just sitting right here. And then basically the headless state is this. It starts, if you'll go with me, it might work. It's a little trick. It's kind of like an optical illusion. So think of yourself, and think if you've ever been able to look directly at your face. Now, many of us have seen pictures of our faces, and so we think we know what we look like. And we all have mirrors, and we've looked at ourselves probably on a daily basis in the mirror, and we go, oh, that's me, right? But have you ever directly looked at your face? And I'll answer for you, no, you haven't. You can't see your own face, right? Not without the aid of a camera or a mirror. So you have never seen your own face. So this is just to soften the thought that you could not see as though you were a person, but you could just see. That you don't have, think of yourself as not having a head, that you don't have your head because you can't see it. Let's just imagine you don't have a head. And then you're seeing out, and it's no longer I'm seeing, it's just seeing. Seeing without an I in front of it. So see if you can just imagine you don't have a head, and there's just seeing going on where you are. Right? And it's a lot like those optical illusions where it's the old lady or it's the young woman, and you can't really tell which one it is. And it's like, but if you flip your mind and you're just seeing, and there's no me here, because it's only what exists is what you can see, and you can't see yourself. So your head anyway, so you are a headless seeing at this point. This headless seeing is one way to begin to break the spell of duality. I am seeing you. Just see headlessly. Just be seeing. So now we're in the state of just seeing. And in that state, your head is replaced by what you're seeing. Right? There's no face seeing. There's only seeing. And where does it reside? Apparently, it resides right around on top of this thing, right? You can see this thing, but you can't see your face. It's residing right here. You with me? Even though I think y'all are cheating by looking at my head. But you get it? Now, it's tricky, and it doesn't happen for everybody the first time they try it. But if you practice this, at some point, you'll get to the point where you can walk around and you're just seeing, you're not I'm seeing. Therefore, you're not adding to the experience of dualism. You're adding to the experience of oneness. Because all that's out there and all that is in here is exactly the same. Non-dual. So now from this non-dual place, we should explore what it is to do Ho'oponopono. Now, Ho'oponopono has four statements in it. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And the first two are a little different than you think. When you say, I'm sorry, let's say you read an event that showed up in the paper, and it was a tragedy, and you said, I'm sorry. Well, there's multiple ways of taking that word to mean it. Like, I'm sorry it happened to you, or I'm sad and I'm sorry. But the way I'd like to introduce here is this idea that I'm sorry means I too have that within me. Now, from the headless state, it's obvious. From the headless state, everything is within you, right? But if you're not there, you can still say, I'm sorry, with the idea on a psychological level that, hey, I have the same tendencies within me that has been displayed by someone else. So if it was a shooting, you could say, haven't I just, at one point, it just wanted to just tear up everything and ruin my whole world. I was so upset with something. Haven't you ever felt like that? Y'all haven't? So it's in us, right? And so on a psychological level, it's there. But on a oneness level, whatever you see in the world is part of you. You're not an island. You're part of it all. And so what you see is yours. And so you say, when you say that, I'm sorry, what you're saying is, I have this within me. I have it, it's mine. It's not there, it's mine. And in fact, it is yours because now it resides in this consciousness, which is you. This experiment of the headless state shows it's right inside you. It's not out there, it's in here now. You're now it's in your experience. And so, I'm sorry means I have it. And then you ask for help. Now, there is no other to ask for, but we have words come out of the dualistic system of talking, and so we say, please forgive me. To whom? To no one, to everyone, to all of it. What doesn't matter? Please forgive me doesn't mean you're a sinner. It means that you have contracted this consciousness with the problem in it. And you would like it taken out, that you have a virus in your consciousness. Please forgive me. So you're asking it be taken out. That's all that means. Remember that repent means metanoia. It comes out of the Greek metanoia, which means a change of mind. You're looking for a change of mind. Please forgive me. I repent, essentially. Release this from me. And the beautiful thing about this is that one of the things I've noticed about prayers that talk about your transformation, the prayers that say, please help me to be, let me be different, that the universe goes, we're on that. We have no other to compete against. We have only you. We're all for you. We'll do it just like you ask. So you ask to be changed, and it changes you. Please take this from me. And you can feel it. And one of the things that I've noticed is when I do this, I do the I'm sorry, please forgive me. I usually get stuck on that because I haven't really gotten to the point where I know it as me yet. So I keep saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, until I feel it, till I actually feel it in my heart or in my being that, oh my God, this is me. This really is me. I'm not just saying it. I'm not just thinking, oh, this is a oneness world. No, I'm having the experience that I see is in me. It is me. And when I have that experience and then I ask, please take this from me, please forgive me, poof, it happens. Because now I have come to the point of realization that's me. And the divine, the oneness says, okay, you asked to get rid of it, I'm taking it. I'll do that. Your higher self, yourself, whatever it is that does whatever it is that you're talking to, whatever you're making that prayer to, there it is. I'm sorry, please forgive me. And with that, you say the obvious next word, which is thank you. Because you felt it shift. Thank you. And then from there you say the next phrase, which is I love you. And if you get to the I love you and you don't, and by mean I love you mean I love all that is. If you don't get to that point, if you're still holding something out or someone out of it, start again. Start again and say, I'm sorry. The thing I don't like, I'm sorry. It's within me. It's not over there in them. Not the other, but me. I'm sorry, I have that. Please forgive me. Take this out. Thank you. I love you. Oh, except for, oh, I'm sorry. And so you could go on like this all day or all lifetime. And all you'd be doing is getting better and better. You would be praying and clean as Dr. Lin, who has brought this into public consciousness, Dr. Lin said he's just cleans all the time. He calls it cleaning. I'm cleaning. Cleaning himself. Now, the story about Dr. Lin was he was a psychologist in a ward for mentally ill people that were incarcerated. And they were incarcerated because they were mentally ill, and then they were going to be held there until they weren't. And he goes in, and he's got an office kind of like up in the balcony. He can overlook the ward, but he doesn't ever interact with the patients. He just reads their file and does Ho'oponopono on them. So he reads their file and he goes on, I'm sorry, all that stuff that this happened in their life, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. He goes through the whole thing. And in the course of about 2 years, this institution goes from losing a very large number of its employees each year because it was such a terrible place to work. And many of the inmates were restrained all the time. They were out. To where the place was emptied because there was no one there who needed help. This becomes legendary, and you can read about it in the book by Joe Vitale called Zero Limits, in which Joe Vitale tells you how great Joe Vitale is until he gets to Dr. Lin, and then he goes, oh my God, I wasn't that special. This is the real deal here. This is how it really works. And so that's on page 100. And so I thought, well, it's a good practice. I'll do this. I had a neighbor who was yelling at his mother, and it was one of those things where you don't know as a bystander at what point you need to intervene. I could hear it in my bedroom. And so didn't really want to go knock on the door, you know? And I surely didn't want to call the cops, but I wasn't sure it was safe if nothing happened, kind of at that level. And so I start doing Ho'oponopono. And I'm lying there in my bed, and I can hear it still, and it just, I'm getting concentrated now because it really beginning to matter to me. And then all of a sudden it dawns on me, oh my God, that is me. That's not just him, that's me. And that's when I said with such sincerity, please forgive me. And within 2 seconds, it stopped. Never to come back. Just like that. So months later, I dissuaded somebody from liking me a lot. And I didn't want that to happen, and it didn't seem like anything I said made any difference. So I was at Yogaville, and I was kind of in the afternoon lying on my bed, and I started doing Ho'oponopono about this, and I kept doing it and kept doing it. And then audibly, it felt like actually from the outside I heard this voice saying, have you heard from her? And no, I had not. I checked my phone, there was nothing. In the morning, I did. I got the call that said, I'm sorry, please forgive me. All's well. So this may seem like an exercise that might be comforting, but I think actually it's bigger than that. That indeed this world is all connected, and that when we change the world we see and the world we experience out there. And it's part of the confluence of experiences that have come to us so far that makes us think that we live in a dualistic world, that I'm here and you're there. And that has been repeated so often. And I've been thinking about this since we were using the virus idea. If you think of it as your biome, you know what the biome is? It's what's in your gut, the rest of the body, but largely in your gut you have more cells which are not you, that are in here, that do a lot of the digesting of your food and affect your mood quite a bit for that matter, but also affect how much you weigh. So I don't know if you've heard this, but there was a woman who had her biome destroyed through chemotherapy for cancer, and so they needed to replace it, and so I won't go into how they replace it, but they got it from somebody else. And the person they got it from, so this person who had cancer was a marathoner, or did a lot of running. She was pretty thin. But the person they got the material from to do this was overweight. So when she got she got this new biome started in her system, she was still running and all that, but she became overweight. So now if you think about this, the implications are huge, that much of who we are is affected not just by what we do, but by who's in here with us, right? Now, if you think about it, you get most of your biome when you're born. Much of it when you're born is, and early on. And it comes in, and it's all the ways that we have picked up these germs and critters in there. They're living in there, and they give us a lot of our body function that we really need. And they determine a lot of stuff, like if you have a big craving for sugar, that's largely where it comes from, is from that. It can send a chemical to your brain and make you want sugar because that's what it feeds on. Change your biome, it feeds on something else, and you'll probably want edamame or something, I don't know, but so think about it as a thought process instead of just a body process. If you were born into a system where all you were fed were thoughts that were dualistic and separate, then at some point that's going to be your consciousness, right? And the way you see the world will be through that biome of thoughts. And you'll have a gut reaction, not just because you have little critters in here, but because you have been conditioned in a certain way. And if you would like the world to be different, then you change your biome. If you're tired of being skinny and you want to be heavier, then you change your biome, and if you want to, vice versa. So here's one of the things you could do. You got to change your mind. And one of the ways to do it, of course, is this Ho'oponopono, please forgive me. Take this virus from me. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Take this virus from me. And while it might not have been easy to do the headless state, with some practice, you can learn to do the headless state. It's just a matter of practice. If you just practice that a little bit, you'll have that optical illusion where it will flip for you. And you'll just be seeing. And the truth that I was watching this will kind of disappear, and it will just be watching. Could be you begin to feed that virus, that biome thought of oneness. But nothing, I think, works faster than having this experience of going, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and then something stopping doing what it was doing right there, right in front of your eyes. Try that. You don't even have to believe it. Just try it. Because I didn't expect it when it happened to me. It just happened. It happens quickly. Happened quickly enough, I noticed. That's the trick, isn't it? So, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. The last two are easy. Thank you, I love you is a check. You check to see if you're finished. I love you. And then when that's I love you 360, everything that's in your field, I love you. That's what you're saying, not I love you, but I love you. That I love you, there's a point in there where you say, yeah, but not this. Ho'oponopono on that. Until you get to the point where that's included in there as well. Right? And so that's the practice. And so let's practice. So, find something you don't currently love. Could be a person, could be a thing, could be an event, it could be anything. Whatever it is you don't currently love, and then let's start with I'm sorry, which is coming to the realization that this is within you. It's in your field. At the very least, you must admit it's in your consciousness now because you know it. So that's what that means. I'm sorry. I recognize this is in my field. And now, please forgive me means take this from me. Change this out. Take this virus from me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So as we do that, if it's clicked, if you feel the shift, and it may not be a real strong feeling, but if you have some sense, oh, I feel a little different, something changed, then you say thank you. And if you've done that, then you say, I love you, and you check by saying, can I love all that is? And if not everything is included in I love you, then that's where you'll start next, is with that. Or it could be you come back again to the thing that you haven't quite finished. It often happens that way. It's not like a one-time prayer, But a many-time prayer, I'm sorry, please forgive me, because it's still there. Thank you, and I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Now, it could be that you don't get any further than I'm sorry, please forgive me in this practice. Now, it can be said as a mantra, too. As a continuous mantra, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Some people do it that way. All right, let's take a break from that. If you have anything to report next week when you come back, you said, I just fixed the World Bank. Let me know. Dr. Lin, I once had lunch with him, and someone asked him about the Middle East. He goes, I'm working on it. Could be like that. You're just doing your part. You may not be the whole, like we have a shared consciousness, right? There is a shared consciousness out here. And so we just do our part. We may not see the whole world turn, but we can do our part. And I think when I was thinking about these shootings, is that one of the things that happens is there's a virus that happens that seems to be infecting our country, which is this idea of shootings, right? And that we do our part now, that we may not stop them all, but we might, who knows how many. We just do our part. We take out the virus out of us. It helps the collective. We're going to be better for it. And then you have a practice that you can use when something bad happens. You don't have to feel powerless or angry. You can do, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And engage the world at a higher level than the news. Come at it from oneness, from spirit. All right. Let's do it one more time and then we'll take a break. So we do this, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry. Find something that you're sorry or you wish was not so, and ask that it be taken out of your system. Now let's just, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And so it is. One of the more subtle ways of using this is that if there's somebody that you really want to tell off, just do Ho'oponopono for a while and see if you still want to be angry with him, right? See if it really sticks. Maybe it'll go. Okay.